enter to our everyday lives at Launch Academy, Western Canada's starting, what is that ding? Leading startup hub. My name is Sam. I'm your co-host, and here is
Sade. Nice to see you again.
Sade. I guess we're sort of seeing them again.
Nice to virtually see you.
How is the weather today, Sade?
Well, it's raining, just like last time. And
what did your weather app say today?
100%, 110% chance of rain.
110% chance of rain. Is there any snow in the horizon?
No, thank God. The rain's melting away all the snow. Soon we'll be able to do some hikes again and all that good stuff.
Yes, so we talk everything Vancouver here. So we'll talk about tech. Obviously, we talk about the weather a lot. Our daily lives here at Launch Academy, and also, of course, food. It is Lunch Academy, and it is 12 o'clock. Okay, so, how was your week? How is everything going?
Good.
What's new with you?
Week is going great. Playing a lot of catch up. Really looking forward to this episode because this is my turn to feed Sam. So
I'm so scared.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
And I'm still sick, but I'm getting better.
I keep trying to feed him multivitamins.
Yeah, and they're I guess for anybody listening, they're really big. Like, they are not swallowable vitamins. They're the size of a tooth. Like, are you actually supposed to chew? Is it a chewable or is it like a? Oh, they are massive. Anyway, just some housekeeping items. Make sure you're following us on Facebook if you're not already. Launch Academy Ignited. We're live there every week. That's where you actually get to see our faces and not just listen to us. If you want more of us, we're also pretty active on Instagram. You get some BTS behind the scenes stuff. Launch_Academy. Our Twitter handle is also Launch_Academy. And now it is official. I can say we are also on iTunes. So please subscribe. We'll leave a link in the Facebook description, but you should be able to find us. But just saying, actually, everybody that's listening, do a test. Go, hey Siri, play Lunch Academy podcast.
Yeah, see what happens. Because apparently I can't pronounce lunch, and it keeps pulling up launch. So which is a
podcast about rockets and NASA and stuff, which is cool too. Subscribe to those guys. Shout out to those guys too.
Shout out to Launch Academy podcast out there.
Cool. So anyway, how was your week? What did you do this week?
Anytime somebody asks me that, I blank, and then I just don't remember what I did that week. Honestly, just playing catch up. I feel like all of last week was launching our birthday party. Yeah. So this week was just answering emails. Oh, we did schedule in our next founder spotlight. So we're gonna do a new video interview. Ooh. The last one was Ganesh. The next one will be Jason from Clue. So stay tuned. Shout out
to Ganesh and Jason.
Yeah, thanks for agreeing to sit with us here for an hour.
You're stuck. Yeah. But you also worked with some kids this week, right? Is that right?
Oh, right. Okay, that's what you were leading to. I was not taking the cue on that.
I'm working really hard here, guys. Ray, if you're listening, please give me a raise. Give me more talent to work with.
I need to acknowledge my cues better. Okay, noted. So pretty exciting. Me and my colleague Claire went to elementary school and taught some fourth graders about money and entrepreneurship. And we did that with JA Canada. It was great. We got an opportunity to volunteer, and they gave us all of the material. They came and prepped us in advance. We're biased towards JA Canada because
my wife works there. And so JA is Junior Achievement. She works for the British Columbia chapter. So that's the full disclaimer. Here's the full plug. But I wasn't the one volunteering. Like, Sade did this. And what was it like? Like,
it was great. Yeah.
Do you think that, and maybe this is a loaded question, like, do kids nowadays, they think about business and startups? And I actually have no idea what you taught. So maybe you can go a little bit into that too. Where are people at now?
So, the package included talking about the basics of money. So we did go, basically it kind of went through a bunch of different definitions to get these kids more comfortable with talking about money. So we went and talked about that, checking accounts, saving account, interest, financial institution, which was super hard when we said, anybody know what financial institution is to fourth graders?
Is that a bank?
Looking at us like, deer in headlights.
Oh wait, beyond banks, what's another financial institution? Pop quiz.
I guess insurance companies or financial institutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you should do this class with me.
Yeah, we should probably.
Like,
good test run.
how literate
Yeah.
financially is Sam?
No, and these kids were super receptive, and honestly, I was impressed at the level of kind of comfort with fourth graders talking about money and what is profit and what is loss and the logic behind all that. Like if you're running into loss, you won't be able to pay your bank loans and business loans. And so we were talking about all those things, and they were like, it made sense to them. They weren't completely lost. And also a few kids brought up Bitcoin, which was ridiculous. Like we're teaching some fourth graders about finances, and some kids like, what about Bitcoin? And you're like, what has the world become?
The world's moving fast. In fourth grade, I was trying to figure out how to get out of French class.
Oh my God. I can't even remember what I was doing in fourth grade. But like,
not Bitcoin, I can tell you that.
They actually, and this kid, like, I was so interested. So I actually like talked to him on the side and was like, so how would you describe Bitcoin? And he was like, it's money that you use to buy things online. And I was like, not quite, but like pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, better than the first time somebody asked me what
I can use
was.
Bitcoin, I can use mom's credit card, I can use my brother's credit card, I can use my dad's PayPal account. Those are my financial institutions.
I was impressed. These kids were awesome, and they had a lot of fun with it. And JA, the material they give us was also super engaging. We've got some videos about young entrepreneurs. We really wanted to motivate them to get that business mindset early so that they can pick up opportunities at a young age.
So they're going to be my customers in like 15 years. Is that the goal? The long-tail marketing plan, guys. Here's Launch Academy's long-tail marketing plan is we're going to reach out to 8-year-olds, and we're going to have this little cool rocket ship t-shirt, and that's the plan.
I'm gonna do Leap for Toddlers.
You got to start earlier and earlier, right? It's just like in like.
It gets you thinking
Yeah.
logically. It really, because we want kids to believe in their dreams and all that. And I want to be an astronaut. Great, do it. But then if you also have these passions and you're thinking about them with a business sense, you're making better decisions for your future. And if you're doing that at a young age, as young as grade 4, I think it can lead to some pretty amazing career choices. So I thought it was really cool.
Do you think astronauts pay taxes?
They probably got some awesome.
Like you just literally made me think of that. Like, you know, if I'm in a different country, like which taxes do I pay? So that's probably a good question for accountants. But what if I'm in space? Where are you employed? I'm employed in space. What taxes do I pay?
That's true.
Like, do I just pay the taxes that employ me? I guess that would kind of make sense. Or are they just tax exempt because they're freaking astronauts? For the moon, for my moon tax. Okay.
We'll look that up. Google it.
Yeah. We'll Google that. So if anybody knows the answer to this, please let us know.
Yeah.
Or you know, we don't have our computers with us, so we can't Google it. But like on this kind of topic of you know, I mean, obviously you were volunteering, and it's a pretty good cause, and there's all that. But I think one of the mantras at Launch Academy is everybody has something to teach, everybody has something to learn. Our CEO Ray says that time and time and time again, and I think it is drilled into our culture and into our DNA. But why is it important to give back? I mean, without getting too cliche, right? Like what did you get from this experience? You know, not just the kids, but did you learn anything yourself, or?
I think it keeps you grounded. I think that's because everybody gets into their own bubble, right? Yeah. Whether it is your industry or your work environment or anything, your life routine, you get into a bubble and you start getting comfortable with your opinions and the way you think and all. And I think going out and volunteering or getting involved with different charities and nonprofits that are working on different causes opens your eyes to other things that are happening in the world and other issues that are prominent that you don't even think about on your day-to-day basis. So getting out and spending time with fourth graders grounded me again to think about the younger generation and how do we help them and have a great future. Yeah, for sure. And I was kind of thinking about this, and it's not even so much about work-life balance. I think especially in startups when people can regularly just
work heads down 18 hours a day, for 4 days, and they legitimately don't see daylight. Well, we're in Vancouver and we're raining for the next 10 days, so we're not going to see daylight anyway. I told you we'd keep talking about weather. But like, I think it keeps you in touch with humanity.
Yeah.
Like, whatever product you're building, whatever service you're building it for someone's son, someone's daughter, right? Like, and if you become so disconnected with it because you're so into your line of code or into your lean canvas or whatever it is, and you don't kind of just take a step back and be like, oh yeah, so these are the people that I help, or these are the people that I sell to, or all those things. Like, I feel like you become a little bit robotic as a company. And I think the best companies and the best entrepreneurs have that grasp of working with other people. And I think that has to be a piece of the puzzle when you're kind of trying to fill out your timeline of what am I going to do in a week. I mean, at Launch Academy here, I'm like, all curtains open. Like, a lot of our work here and the work we do with helping entrepreneurs is dependent on volunteers of mentors, right? Like Jason from Clue, you mentioned, has mentored a bunch of companies here. Ganesh as well, he does a lot of, impromptu sessions, just helping people. But this concept of mentorship and even me, when I'm in what we call our office hours here at Launch Academy, where an entrepreneur gets to meet with a mentor, with someone, like myself, or someone, much more talented. Like, I actually learn a lot from our office hours. And even though I'm supposed to be the one that's helping the company, because I think it forces you to think, okay, what would I do if I was in their shoes? And that's really helped me growing as a person, as a professional in startups. But I mean,
also the startup industry or whatever environment is evolving. It's ever evolving. So keeping in tune with what are the challenges nowadays, because those challenges may be very different than starting a company 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So I feel like mentoring, especially if you're a mentor and you're also leading your own company, which is the case with a lot of our alumni that come back and mentor, keeps you in tune with what challenges are out there for startups right now and whether they should maybe be thinking about these challenges as well. Keeps you sharp. Yeah,
for sure. And I think for anybody that's listening out there that's an entrepreneur or has, strong business, skills and years of experience, I think it's something they should consider, whether it's with an organization like Junior Achievement or Launch Academy or many of the other ones that are out there, right? BC Tech, I think they do a lot of mentorship. I can't remember the name. I think it's called the BC Tech Collective. They do a lot of giving back with social good resources. I apologize if the name is incorrect.
And also just getting involved with local events. Local events are always looking for judges, panels, floating mentors, things like that. All the hackathons that are happening in Vancouver. I feel like maybe it was a month ago, I mentored for Startup Hacks.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I got to talk to some kids that were they were, I think, last year in high school. And they had this crazy idea and they were telling me about their challenges and their barriers between like creating their pitch and what they should consider. And I was teaching them all the things that I've learned so far from being around startups here at Launch Academy.
Yep.
And it felt good to say it,
Yep.
Like, I feel like when you teach somebody, it really solidifies like
what you know.
What you know and what you believe in. And also to like do that with kids that are so young, but that have such an awesome, like their idea was awesome. It was this handheld umbrella here, pit weather again. It was a handheld umbrella that wraps around. I won't say more because maybe they patent it.
Yeah, right. Did you sign that NDA?
No, but it was cool. That mentoring was awesome. That's a great way to get involved. Look up all the hackathons that are going on in Vancouver and sign up as a panel or a judge or a mentor. Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. And Hussein, our general manager, and I have something we call the 80-20 rule. So as founders of startups, you want to spend 80% of your time heads down, working, building, hustling, all the buzzwords. But the other 20% of the time is really for experiencing new things. And I think mentorship, volunteering, that has to be a part of it, not just going to events. I mean, obviously, we'll talk a little bit later about the events we're running, but and obviously events is a part of that, and staying cutting edge, making sure you're keeping a pulse on what the ecosystem and the community is doing. But I think there needs to be a bigger emphasis on helping and giving back to others. Like even if it's like just at the local YMCA, like they do small business classes and stuff like that. And there's so many different ways that people can just get involved. I mean, if you're already involved in one of those things, we'd love to hear, the initiative you're involved in. We'll give you a plug, free of charge this time, I guess. Cool. And moving along. So one last way that, entrepreneurs can really give back that I know you were doing some research on is the concept of philanthropy. Right?
Yeah.
So like it's a little bit out of my realm, but like, what are your thoughts on, the philanthropic,
that word.
It's so hard, man. Like we need easier words.
Philanthropic.
Philanthropic. Just don't make me spell it.
No, please don't.
This is not a spelling bee podcast. But yeah, like go ahead and talk a little bit about that scene in Vancouver.
Well, I guess I'll talk about one thing that I've kind of seen happen, and it's pretty awesome, and it's with one of our members is so we've got a member here, CEO and founder of Victory Square Technologies. His name is Shafin. Shout out to Shafin if you're watching. He's probably not. He's so busy. He never watches anything.
This is life goals. We'll make sure Shafin watches.
Yeah. He's been doing some awesome things. So he just pledged this year to donate 10 million to 50 kid charities in BC. And
wow.
And so there's he went live the other day.
Breakfast television.
Yeah. And he was talking about venture philanthropy. And how they approach nonprofits the same way they approach for-profits. So when they donate to a nonprofit, they take the same approach where they go and give funding to a for-profit company. And that just includes making sure that the nonprofit has a good strategy, a good growth plan, a business plan, like a recruitment strategy, the right partners, like the whole thing. Because they've found so far that nonprofits aren't thinking that way, and they're really just going with the month-to-month, quarterly, what their work is, which is good. They're like focusing on what they're solving in a way, and then how do they get funds to solve that issue. But everything around that, in terms of like the business aspect of a nonprofit and a charity, is kind of forgotten. And so they're bringing that back in and acting as advisors to these nonprofits to make them think long-term and sustainable, which is so awesome. And I think for sure, philanthropy should be approached in a more business savvy way.
So not just cutting you a check and going like,
yeah, exactly. Like, here's a check, I get to write this off my taxes. But they're just more hands-on. There's like, here's a check, and here's how you're gonna make the most out of this money. And without focusing on profit, but focusing on growth and outreach. And so he introduced this fun concept of, I'm not sure when they're going to launch it or if they're still going to launch it, but they wanted to start doing a Dragon Den style version for charities and nonprofits, which, think about that. That would be awesome. And so they would
I guess I would watch that.
Yeah. They would get charities to come in and pitch as if they were on Dragon's Den. Their long-term sustainable business plan and why people should donate and pledge and that show would probably end up being pretty popular, and so it would just raise awareness about the issues, which is a great step, then for sure would entice some donations. And
I know last year they did a hackathon with the Breast Cancer Association too. I don't know if I'm saying their name right either. I'm not good with names. They're doing some great stuff. But they're pioneering that right now. Exactly. So I'm not going to give too much away, but next week we might talk a little bit more about what Victory Square is up to. So here's the hint for you.
Hint, wink, wink. I can't wink.
Neither can I. I have to like move my whole face to wink. And it's not a wink. It's just like, it's like a face glitch.
If you ever think I'm winking at you, I probably have something in my eye.
Cool. So moving along, the next segment we're going to call There's an App for That.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So both you and I, we're starting to do homework for the show. We're not just coming on air and we're spitballing now. So we've prepared some apps that I don't know, for me, I'm starting to use, or I'm using, that isn't your regular Facebook or weather app. But
You
it
have to
are
use
really,
these apps? I just looked up random apps.
so follow my apps, don't listen to hers at all. But yeah, like, how about I get started and then we'll go one by one. So I have 3. How many do you have?
I think I have 2.
Yeah, it's just 2. Okay. So I'll run off my first one. And something since we started last week, a lot of, frankly, people who don't know what we do at Launch Academy and what I do for a living, have come on to me like, seriously, you guys have like a podcast? Or actually somebody's dad asked, it's like, does Sam have a new TV show? Like, how does he know how to do this? Like, what is that? So this is a podcast. Thanks, friend's dad. And also it's mainly meant for audio, but we also have the video streaming here going. But the first app I want to introduce to you guys that not everybody knows about is called Anchor. So Anchor is really a really easy way for you to get started with your podcast. And you don't need all the gear. You don't need this mic. You don't need the stand. You don't need the lights that we have behind us. All you need is your phone. And you push the button, you record it like a voice message on WhatsApp or whatever, and it can connect your strips together, and boom, there you go. You have a podcast. You know, I could be talking on the phone with you through Anchor, and it becomes a podcast. And they have cool, like funky tools for you to put in like music or what's the word when you connect things? Transitions. Mm-hmm. I'm so bad with words. Why am I here? So it has all that. And the coolest part is, of course, it publishes to the Anchor platform. But if you click one more button, it will automatically create an iTunes podcast for you. It'll create a Spotify podcast for you. Cool. It'll create all that with one button. And all you have to do is download that app. So my first app is Anchor. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you think people are interested in listening to your blabber, just like we thought we did. I think the last listener just walked out the door. So Anchor.
Jordan, if you heard this, here's the way to start your own my brother,
there you
Jordan,
go.
Wants to start his own. I know he wants to.
Yeah, it's a free app. It's totally legitimate, and they just raised a bunch of money. I don't know them, so this is a completely free plug for them. But like, I've loved the experience so far. It's been super easy. What's your first app?
Okay, so I misunderstood this completely. I thought we were gonna say some ridiculous apps, and then you were going to tell me whether you think it's an app or not.
Okay.
But I also can talk about some apps that I like. I'm ready for that too.
That's good for next week.
Here, an app that I really like that's been super helpful for me as a not ESL but ETL is Grammarly on my phone.
Grammarly. So not what's the one I have on my phone? Duolingo. I have Duolingo.
Oh, no. Yeah. So the Duolingo is to learn new languages, which I'm also doing.
Yeah. What's Grammarly?
Grammarly is exactly kind of what it sounds. It fixes your grammar. So it goes...
In English or in...
English in any language.
So what do you do? Speak into it or...
No, you can type. So it links up to your keyboard.
Okay.
And you can have it on your computer and on your phone. And I've only had it on my computer for like the longest time. And 2 months ago, I uploaded the app onto my phone and linked into my keyboard. And it's great because now when I send emails on my phone,
you sound prim and proper.
Yeah. So Grammarly on your phone, so good. You'll never make the stupid grammar mistakes that I make again.
So here's the secret: is Shadi is a terrible writer, and she has an app that fixes it for her and makes her sound prim and proper.
I may have lied. Maybe it's only in English.
Is it okay? So it's not for other languages. Yeah. So it's not related to Duolingo.
Yeah.
Cool.
When I send emails in French, I just speak into my phone.
So it can do verbal too.
No, that's not Grammarly. That's just Google.
Okay, fair enough. That's Google Translate, right? That's probably your next app. Cool. So my second app, since it is tax season, so I don't know if you guys have done all your taxes yet or whatever. No, it's not a tax app. Don't get excited, Matthew. Is part of doing all this stuff is you need to collect a bunch of paperwork. You need your T4s and T3s and all the other T's. T3 is the Tylenol, never mind. But you need to collect a bunch of paperwork, right? Like I don't know what your situation is and how advanced your accounting is, but you need a bunch of paperwork. And so every year when I'm about to do taxes, I always say the same thing. Well, I'm going to buy a scanner next year because, who owns a scanner these days, right?
Yeah.
But what I found out is that there's actually an app called Tiny Scanner. And I thought it would just be like your camera taking a picture of a photo, but it actually looks like a dirty old fax. Like it has like those dots and pieces.
My
like,
brother
when
told me about that.
Yeah.
I used it to do my PR application when I had to scan ridiculous things like my university diploma, which is massive. I'm like, there's no scanner big enough to scan this diploma. So I just took a photo of it like this, and it worked. Yeah, and it actually like, it impressed me because I thought I would just be using my camera and just take a photo of a piece of paper, which is not great, but it actually looks like a document that I bothered to scan into a computer. So it just saved me a couple $100 or whatever scanners cost these days. I'm not sure. Yeah. Never buying a scanner again. I don't need more trash in my house. Tiny Scanner. Awesome. I think it's like a free to play, and there's probably like additional add-ons if you have to, send it to Drive or something like that. But I think to save, it's free. So for all your tax needs and your T4s, and legitimately the only tax form I know is T4. This is really bad. There's the R1 in R1? Quebec. For the Quebec viewers out there. Nobody is going to correct you on this if you're wrong. So we're going to have to take your word for it. Cool. Do you have another app for us? Yeah. Kind of actually similar to what you were saying. Camcard. So okay. What's Camcard? It takes photos of business cards and adds the contact to your contacts, which is awesome. Like, directly to it. It's not just like typing. No, you directly, like I'll take it's I guess figured out every single standard format of business cards, and you just take the photo of the business card, it scans it, it takes all the information and puts it into the fields like name, whatever, address, email. And it's accurate? Yeah, it works most of the time. Sometimes people have really funky fonts, business cards, and then you've got to like fix some typos that it creates. But then you also have the choice of saving it onto the app and making it into groups. Like say you're going to a conference and you want to put all the contacts that you've had from that conference into a specific group so you remember them, and you can or give them back the gift card, save a tree. And or you can actually just link it straight to your contacts if you actually want it to be on your phone contacts. But it's a great way to keep your business contacts and your personal contacts separate. Yeah. And also whenever someone hands me a business card now, I just say put it on the table, I take a photo and I give it back to the person. Solid. Yeah, Camcard. My desk is full of business cards and it gives me anxiety. Like the minute I see like a desk with like a stack of like business cards after somebody came back from a conference or whatever, a networking event, I'm just like, oh. So Shadi gets anxiety every time she sees my desk. That's why at the end of every week she's like, we're doing cleanup. I need to clean your desks. And Sam came back from his Brazil tour, and I was trying to ask him people's names to tag them on the separate posts, and he was like, let me look. And he was just like going through all this. I'm like, what is this? It's 2018. Couldn't remember. So yeah, Camcard. So helpful. Yeah. You know if it's Android and iOS or? Yeah, it's both. Yeah. Sweet. It's pretty awesome. Awesome. So my last one I actually haven't tried yet, so that's the disclaimer, but I'm really excited to try it. It's not a new app, but it's new for, I think, British Columbia and maybe Canada, I'm not sure. So the app is Instacart. Have you heard of it? No. So Instacart is just another one of those delivery apps, kind of like we have our food deliveries and stuff like that, but they deliver groceries. And why I'm so excited about it is because I hate grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping. And there's no app that will stop me from going to the grocery store. There's a reason for this that I don't think you have. And so anyway, back to Instacart for a second, I think they have a partnership with Superstore. Okay. So that means like Superstore, T&T Supermarket, all whatever else is in their conglomerate, like they will deliver it for I think $3.99, which sounds like a lot to some people depending on how close you are to your grocery store. But to me, I'm like, I will gladly pay that $4 every time not to step foot. And the reason for that is so my wife, Janita, like we go grocery shopping together. I wouldn't say she likes grocery shopping, but like, I mean, like one of us has to do it, right? So we take her there, and here's the issue. She is, how do I say it? She is not tall. She has black hair, she's Asian. And she generally wears like a black jacket, like most people in Vancouver do. Everybody in Vancouver has some sort of black attire.
It's just the uniform,
Do
right?
you lose her? Is that the reason?
Yes.
I lost my wife.
And it's not only that I lose her, but it is so hard to find because I did this once where we went in a superstore. This was at Metrotown, and she does her own thing, and I have like a low attention span, so I like space out. I go check out like the SD cards or whatever is left of their electronics section, and then I try and find her again, and I counted 16 people with black hair and a black jacket, like 16 people. So by the time I get to her and I finally find her and she's got like, you know, a cart worth of stuff, I'm exhausted. Like I just did a marathon and inside this like superstore. Like if you could,
why don't you just take the yelling technique? That's my technique. When I'm in a grocery store with someone, I just yell their name.
I don't want to be the crazy guy yelling at a superstore.
I love doing that with my mom. Because it's funny as an adult to go around in a grocery store screaming, "Mom, Mom!" You're just like,
but you're not even screaming something that's like functional. Everybody can scream "Mom." My
mom recognizes my voice. I'd like to think so at least.
Let's not shop at the same places. Anyway, I'm gonna use Instacart. So
I'm gonna keep yelling.
You scream all you want at the store.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
cool.
I'm excited to try that one, but
I know Save on Foods delivers as well, and you can order online, which is pretty cool.
But I think like if you actually care about your food and you care about your groceries, you kind of want to like, especially with produce, right? Like you want to pick out your own tomatoes and whatever. I don't care, so it's good for me. Cool. So there's an app for that.
Wait, I have another one actually.
Oh, yeah, one more. Okay, let's go.
It was just a cool one that I actually, through the research that I did for this, of looking for random apps, Sweet. I also looked at like the most popular useful apps. Yep. And one of them that I thought was really cool is, what are they called again? I had them written down here. It's like Swift something.
Swift.
Oh, it's okay. I downloaded it. So
you
here, Swift Key.
Swift Key.
Yeah, I didn't know this existed. So you download Swift Key. It also connects with your keyboard. As you can see, I like being able to type easily.
She really hates the regular keyboard.
Yeah. And so it's awesome. You go into your keyboard and then using AI, they can kind of autocorrect and figure out what you're trying to type with you just like, gliding over the letters. Yeah. So I don't even know if I can show the camera, but it's pretty awesome. So I want to try. So it looks like this.
We're trying to show a camera on a podcast.
Over the letters, and it figures out what you're trying to say. And it's so like I've been playing with it all day, testing it to see like how well it can depict what I'm trying to say just by gliding over the keyboard, and it gets it like right every time.
For those of you listening, she just waved over at a camera and showed the gliding technique.
Yeah, sorry for the podcast people.
We are a podcast. But anyway, I know quite a bit about SwiftKey. I've worked with them in the past, actually.
Oh, really?
They've been around for a while. They started as an Android keyboard back in the days when the Android keyboard was terrible. And eventually, this is a nerd story, but like Apple wouldn't open their API access so people couldn't create extra keyboards. Like now, if you can actually download like Bitmoji keyboards and like what's the famous one, the Kim Kardashian keyboard and all this stuff now, right? But that wasn't
emojis.
That wasn't possible back then because Apple locked on their keyboard. They didn't want people messing with it, so they were Android only for a very long time, and they were much better than the default Android keyboard because of that smart technology of like them being able to eventually guess your words, like what you say on a regular basis.
It's awesome.
So it was a staple for a while for Android users.
Before even knowing what this was, because I didn't figure out what it was and I didn't download it till today. Yeah. A few months ago, I saw someone use it on the bus and I had no idea what they were doing. Like I was looking at this girl and she was just like playing with her keyboards and I was like, is that like a game? I was so confused. Like how could she possibly be typing anything by just like going in circles?
Maybe it wasn't English. Maybe it was like Chinese or something.
No, it was like on the keyboard. Exactly. She definitely was using SwiftKey and I just was like, had no idea what it was.
Sweet.
So I just imagine some like old lady seeing that happen and just being like, what is happening to that keyboard?
That's awesome. Cool. Announcements and shout outs. Any announcements? What's on the docket?
So a few announcements of some cool events coming up. sorry if I repeat some of the ones that I've already said last week, but I think we've got two new ones. So on April 25th, we're doing a cybersecurity workshop. So it's cybersecurity for startups. And we're really trying to show startups that it's never too soon to start thinking about cybersecurity, and it can be adapted to whatever level of complicatedness you have going in your company. So yeah, join us April 25th.
Yeah, for April 25th. What time?
Yeah. I think it's 5:30 or 6, but it's on a Pick a Tick page. So check it out. Just do Launch Academy, Pick a Tick, and they're all there. So cybersecurity workshop for startups. And then on April 26th, we have a Startup Ladies Night, and that will happen at Launch Academy. And it's really just to bring together the ladies working in startups and in tech and in all industries, just startup related. And it's awesome. There's always a great turnout. And so the next one is April 26th. Join us. And it starts at 5:30, and it's here in our space. You just have to go. If you look up Startup Ladies Night Vancouver, you find, I think it's a Eventbrite. No, it's a Pick a Tick page as well. So you'll find it.
Awesome.
And then last one is April 30th. We've got an Intro to Blockchain workshop. We've been doing a few of those. I think I mentioned it last week, and always jam-packed, always great turnout. People are super keen to learn about blockchain. And it's just, I find that if you go online and try to read what is blockchain, like, at least it didn't work for me. Like, the whole in-person, somebody explaining it to you in the most like simplest way possible is like so helpful. Yeah.
And speaking of blockchain, I mean, one of our members, Jackie from Victory Square, actually. See, we told her to come back to Victory Square. She recently wrote an article on Medium about investing in crypto and how to get started if you don't know anything, which is, I think it's about where we're at. And I read it and it was super helpful. So make sure you check that out as well. We'll try and put some of these links on Facebook or we'll figure out a way. But
and this article was recently posted on our social channels, so you should be able to find it there.
Perfect. So if you're on any of our social channels, like I said, you're going to find all these goodies, especially, links to sign up for all those events as well. And I think cybersecurity is one of those things that definitely should be a part of your 20%, because I know it's very hard to think about when you're an early stage entrepreneur, when you don't have users to care about the user's privacy. You're like, well, I'm focused on getting the users before I care about how secure their data is. But the truth of the matter is that's all tied together. That's part of the sell. Who are you and why should I put my personal information on your website? It has to be secure. I need to know that it's going to a safe place, and that can be part of your sell.
And also starting to think that early and implementing those strategies early, also a great selling point for investors.
Yep. Any other announcements for you? What are you up to personally, or anything like that?
Well, I don't know.
Not much is what's the answer.
Puts me. So no, I mean, I'm really looking forward to our next video interview. I think that's like my next thing.
That's her next thing. So make sure you're glued to, I think it's going to be on YouTube, right?
That one will be on our YouTube channel.
Our YouTube, I believe that's Launch Academy as well. If you search up Launch Academy, you're going to find us on YouTube.
Check out some of our past ones too.
Yeah. And for me, I am announcing publicly that I'm going to be running a 10K.
Oh, yes. I'm running this with you.
Yes, you're running this with me. It's called Run for H2O. And I guess if you Google runforh2o.com. And so it's a pretty cool cause. A couple of my buddies, Hosea and Anthony, they actually went to Guatemala to check out the place that they're fundraising for. So it's a small village in Guatemala. And what the people there do is they have to walk up a couple hills. So think of it like the grouse grind times like 3, with empty buckets. And then they got to do that 2-3 times a day. It's about like a 2-3 hour hike each time to get clean water. So they're raising money, and their goal is, I think, $150,000 to get them education systems, to get them to have like a better,
cool,
not sewage, but like a better system to build water pipes and things like that. So all the proceeds to this run are going to that village. So that's enough for me to get me off my fat ass and actually try running.
Amazing.
For those interested, like I hate running. I hate moving beyond what I need. Like I don't want to reach for things because I can just go, hey, Shadi, can you get that for me, please? And so this concept of running is super bizarre to me. I mean, like you like running, Claire likes running, some of our team members like running. I don't know why, but I respect that.
It's great. Clears your mind.
Yeah. It'll clear my so I mean, if you want to support us and you want to see like Sam vomit on the road,
we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
We'll make sure that
we're gonna train.
Yeah, we'll train. I'm gonna think about running right now. No, but I ran like 2 kilometers on a track yesterday and I'm gassed. I'm ready to go to bed now. It's noon and I'm ready to go to bed.
You're gonna kill it.
I'm gonna be killed. So some of those words are correct. But shout out to those guys. I think they're doing something great. And this is again one of
the. And how much have you raised already? Because I remember seeing the page.
Yeah. So my wife's also in it, and she's. It's sad for me to admit this on air. I think she's in better shape than I am these days. So our team goal as Launch Academy is we're trying to raise $3,000.
Okay, cool.
So far I think we're like $110 in. This is literally 12 hours ago, so it's brand new.
Yeah.
So if you guys are running and you're part of the Launch Academy network, you want to join the team, make sure you reach out to me, sam@launchacademy.ca. I'm glad to put you on the team. And let's make it happen.
This is happening in June, so it'll be beautiful.
June 19th is the actual run. I think it's in South Vancouver somewhere. Cool. We were joking that it's going to be far for us to get to the actual running place, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, that was my bad. I remember Sam sending me the link, and I was like, "Great, I love it. It's awesome cause, but it's so far away." And then he was like, "These kids have to walk. I don't know how long to get water, and you're complaining about taking the SkyTrain." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry, okay, I take that back. Let's do this. We're in."
So yeah, definitely. If you think you can support it, or if you want to do this run, let me know, and we'll go from there. Any last remarks? So speaking of training and getting fit, I think some of that might have to do with diet.
Yeah.
So I've eaten a solid diet of how many times have I had fried chicken since the last time we talked?
We've had a lot of fried chicken this week.
Yeah, we had Jukes
Thanks
the
to
other
Matthew.
day. Shout out to Jukes. Do chicken nuggets count?
Yes. How do chicken nuggets not count?
Did I have chicken nuggets? I can't remember.
Anyways, we gotta get Sam on a better diet, and this might be a start. I think.
So what have you prepared for me? I am so scared.
So this episode is my turn to bring Sam some food, and I'm trying to show him all the great alternatives there is out there for delicious, healthy food. And so this is gonna be fun because I want it to also be a little bit of a guessing game. So I'm gonna show you what the food is, and when you take a bite of it, you have to not look at the inside of it, and then you have to guess what it's made out of. I'm trusting you. I was going to blindfold you, but that's a lot of work.
It's too much work.
So just promise that you will bite into it, looking up into the ceiling.
I promise I will look up
put it
into
down
the ceiling.
And then tell me what you think it's made out of.
Okay. So she put a lot of effort into this. So I will play square. Okay. So I see a box.
So open it up.
So I got to open the box.
Yeah.
This is my present.
Maybe we should show the crowd. And I guess I can tell you what it is. These are vegetarian wings because I know you love chicken wings. These are vegetarian wings.
This is actually pretty sick looking. I think it's like honey garlic or something. I don't know if you can see. Wait, I gotta talk into the mic.
It smells it's so good.
Okay, so
you just sprinkled me with the excess water.
So we got 2 forks here. So I'm gonna
So when you take a bite of it, look into the ceiling.
Oh right, I'm not supposed to look inside, right?
And it might get messy. So maybe eat over this plate.
I got it. You know I'm a messy eater. You've only worked with me for 8 months.
I've seen you destroy Church's chicken on your desk.
That wasn't me. Okay. So it's crunchy.
I think you need to take another bite. I think you took a bite of just the batter.
Batter's good.
First step, batter's good. Taste check.
I think this is cauliflower.
You guessed it. I was so sure you weren't gonna get this right because I was saying like cauliflower is like a next level vegetable that most vegetable eaters that are, say you're like an average vegetable eater like Sam that eats mostly fried chicken and no vegetables. You know your carrots and your broccoli, But cauliflower is for the people who are out there eating zucchini and kale and eggplant.
That's funny because I'll do the cauliflower, but I
You
won't
like
do
it?
zucchini. I don't mind this. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is Nuba, right?
No, this is Meat in Gastown.
Meat.
Shout out to Meat in Gastown. They've also got a Meat on Main and a Meat in Kits, I think.
That's all of them. Meat, please sponsor us.
And so they're a vegetarian restaurant that makes awesome burgers and vegetarian wings.
So,
there's-
don't be distracted. It's MEET.
Yeah, ME. Yeah, I think they were playing on word on that one.
Yep. Cool. So I'm gonna go and enjoy this. We're gonna share this together. This is not bad. Thanks, Sade.
You're welcome.
I appreciate this. This is not bad at all.
There you go. Every time you think of having chicken wings, now you can just get yourself some.
Every time, I don't know about that, but
Get yourself some
this is not
cauliflower
bad.
wings.
Get me some cauliflower wings. All right, so we're signing off. We'll see you again next Friday. We're probably
Thanks
going to
for
change the
joining us.
time to about 1 o'clock just so we can get whatever food we need in.
Yeah, we realized it wasn't realistic to start this at 11, considering most restaurants open at 11.
Yes. So make sure you're subscribed to us on iTunes and let us know what we should eat next in the comments. Cool.
Cool. Thanks for
Signing
joining
off.
us, guys. Bye.
Bye.